What's up, guys? Max here, back with another episode of the ScuttleButt Show, or should I say Max, the MC, rapper, greatest of all time. If you guys see my newest video up on YouTube right now, my reaction to Mark Wahlberg taking it upon himself to go to San Diego, California, Miramar Air Base, and open up an F-45 gym that nobody asked for, that nobody wanted. What's up, everybody in the chat? What's up, Nuggets, Lucas, Eric, Larry, Wasabi, Chris from Veteran Influencers, Chris Hernandez. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the chat. It's nice to have you here. It's Sunday back in the United States. It's Monday morning out here in Okinawa, Japan, and it's raining, which is not super legit. So what is good about that, though, we got plenty of time for games. So I hope you guys all had a great weekend up to this point. I did. I had a nice, fun weekend. Bro, that rap was elite level. Oh, thank you so much. I'll take it. It was actually pretty difficult to write lyrics to Eminem verses because they're pretty complex. I found myself struggling a little bit, even though I do have a history of making spoof songs in my life. I've done it many times. I've done it on deployment. It's always a good time. It always lightens the mood. I'm not the best singer, but I fumbled my way through a little bit of a rap, and I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I had to give the Wahlburgers out there a hard time. We didn't want the gym, but he put it there no matter what. I know F-45 is the last thing we need. We need hardcore. We need, I realize I got a bunch of stuff missing from my screen here. Why is all my stuff missing from my screen? Let's see. What is the problem? What is going on here? I don't see any of my stuff on my screen. Nothing is working right now. So I don't know why. That's weird. All of my graphics that I normally see, we're having stream difficulties, but that's so annoying. The chat should be up here. Everything. Why is nothing working? Let's see. The only thing I can imagine is that somehow, yep, I got it. I got the problem here. Let's see. This should. Oh my god. Oh my god. I am all over the place. We're having Monday problems. Let's see. Now I got to figure this out. Waiting room. Hide that. We'll be right back. What is going on? Okay, there we go. There we go. A moist gentleman subscribed. We had to figure this whole thing out. Sorry about that, guys. Monday problems. We got Monday problems. Technology screws you every time. Yeah, you know, I always do my checks and everything, and somehow things got jumbled up around over here, but we're back on track. We're looking good now. Today's going to be an awesome episode. We have tons of stuff to talk about today. Intro is that calming music, so we're good there. We've got so much to talk about today, you guys. There are so many stories. It's been such a big weekend. That's why I had to get that video out yesterday. I knew there wasn't going to be time. I knew there wasn't going to be time today to talk about Mark Wahlberg and Miramar and the F-45. By the way, question for you guys. Have you ever worked out in an F-45 gym or like an Orange Theory or any of those boutique gyms, those ones where you walk down the street and you look in the window, like, what are they doing? Are they exercising? Like Pilates? You just see them in there and they're kind of hanging out and you're like, maybe I should go in there. But then you go, I can't afford it. It's like $100,000 a month and they don't even really exercise. I like to get down and dirty and work out and sweat. I want to be able to go rip my shirt off if I want to, if I feel the need to. I don't want anybody to come tell me to turn down my music or there's too much adult language in the music. I like the gyms where it's just like outdoors, anything goes. I'm not here for I didn't come to the gym for a bunch of rules or somebody to tell me how I need to live my life. That's my deal with that. So like I was saying, we do have a big episode today. Sorry about all the technical difficulties. You guys know how Mondays are. Anybody ever tell you you're having a case of the Mondays? Hell nah, man. So we've got a bunch of stories. We've got stuff, a follow-up on that Marine who died during the Crucible. We've got the Marine Corps lost another guy this week, and we're going to talk about that. An update on that trial of the Green Beret, the people who are on trial for killing that Green Beret in Africa. Air Force changing its hair rules again. I've got something for you guys. If anybody's interested in the entertainment industry, I've got something for you guys that might be really great. I'm going to check this out myself, actually. And then we finally know the truth. We finally know the truth about what the Air Force is really up to. I mean, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, Mondays. We finally know the truth about what the Space Force is really up to. About what the Space Force is really up to. I'm going to expose the truth about the Space Force today. And then when we're done with that, we're going to do a reaction to a video posted where a trans soldier, an Army soldier, who's transitioning from male to female, is going to come out to his commanding officer, and we're going to see how that goes. The Marines go through some rough losses, yes. Some temp at Initech once. some temp in it. Oh, yeah. Yes, thanks for catching my Office Space reference. So, without further ado, let's jump over and cover the first story of today. I had to get rid of the transitions because it was taxing the computer. What's up, Philip? Philip in the house. You notice his name with that little icon next to it because he's a member of the channel. So you can become a member of the channel too by clicking the join button right below this video. Also, thanks to everybody who checked out my Battlefield video. Space Force spacing out is true. So we covered that story last week about the Marine who died during the Crucible. But now we've got 911 call raised questions about Marine recruit's death during Paris Island's Crucible. So what's going on here? What actually happened with this thing? So we have a little bit more information about PFC Dalton Beals, who was the one who died during the Crucible last week, that it was a hot, humid, late Friday afternoon. The temperature was in the 80s, which is not quite black flag, but there was a high humidity level. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, what's up, Jacob? Welcome to the chat. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there is these flags, black flag warnings for heat. I think if it's over 90 degrees, then you have to have the black flag out, and you see that every day out here in Okinawa during the summer. And the deal with that is that you're only supposed to, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, anybody out there who knows better than me, but I'm pretty sure with black flag, you're only supposed to work for 10 minutes at a time. 10 minutes of work, 50 minutes of rest. So that way you don't get heat injuries. Now, in Iraq, it was 150 degrees outside, and we would work all day, every day. There was no black flag. There's no black flag downrange, okay? So you just deal with it. I've never seen anybody follow the flag rules. I've never seen it, period, never, anywhere, military, training, back home, on a ship. I've never seen it, never heard of such a thing. We would never get anything done. We always go to the hottest and coldest places. So you're not going to be getting anything done out there. So it turns out people were out there suffering heat injuries during the Crucible, which, just as a reminder, 54-hour training exercise. That is the last thing Marine recruits do before they become Marines. Now, they did make some 911 calls. So the cadre, I shouldn't say drill instructors, I should just say cadre in case there's like medical personnel and all that, people who are not necessarily drill instructors, called 911. The 911 calls were getting rerouted to the city office instead of the base emergency services. So the right people were not answering the 911 calls. This article does say that did not necessarily affect response times, but who knows? Because one of the transcripts of the call is, let's see, let me scroll down here. The conversation went like this. Okay, I was calling you because we had a CPR, the recruit down. You're getting him en route there, right? PID, yes. BCD, is there something wrong with y'all's phones? PID, what do you mean? It's rolling back to Beaufort County. PID, it's rolling over to Beaufort County? Yes, sir. PID, okay, thank you for that. I believe there is something wrong. BCD, yeah, can you make sure it's okay because we have like 5 calls from you all about that for the CPR call. So it does say it did not appear to call transfers caused a delayed medical response, but they were calling about multiple recruits having heat injuries during a Crucible. I don't know what you would do. You know, the fact is it gets hot. 80s is not even that hot. The question is, were these heat injuries something that they could have noticed early and gotten them out of the heat and cooled down with some ice? Because we had a recruit die. A recruit died of a heat injury, Private Beals. So McDonald here says, our hearts go out to them, Beals family, and the new Marines that trained with him. Because Dalton's, battle buddies, they're going to go on. They're going to go become Marines, and they're going to go to MOS school. They're going to go to infantry, School of Infantry. They're going to go on. They got their Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, and they're going to go serve as Marines. But Dalton Beals passed away, unfortunately. And there was another female out there who had a heat injury, and they were trying to cool her off, and they had to call 911 for her as well. So apparently she's doing okay. But yes, there were multiple heat injuries out there during this Crucible. If you are not paying attention, if you start to get the warning signs of heat injuries, including you stop sweating, you start being delirious, you start getting clammy skin, even though it's really hot out, those are all signs of heat injuries, and you have to start taking care of that right away. I worked with a guy, he was SWIC. He had suffered heat stroke while in training. He ended up, getting rolled, finishing training, became a SWIC, but he was never the same. Mentally, it affected him because his brain got too damn hot. His brain was too hot. So he was always affected permanently as a result of that. So a little more information out about Dalton Beals, the Marine out there, and that's a sad story. I do feel horrible for his family and for his battle buddies, but hopefully what they'll do is make some adjustments to training. They'll do a thorough investigation, find out what the complete cause was, the chain of events that happened, hopefully fix that 911 system, and maybe make sure that doesn't happen to anybody else in the future. Let's see what's going on in the comments over here. Nuggets prefers his home gym. Some Yeah, some Tempe Initech. The Marines going through some rough losses. Hey, everyone. Philip, Space Force spacing out. Philip is here. Yes. Join and support. Philip says, thank you very much. WBGT, wet bulb, globe temperature to DOD will force people to obey the cold weather ones if it gets bad enough, though. I've been in Afghanistan where it's freezing cold. You can go out there and get frostbite. It all depends on where you're at, right? You're not going to follow heat and cold guidelines if you're getting attacked or something like that, right? So it all depends. We had some guidelines about working in high temps in the engine room, fire room on board a ship. I'll just tell you it was hot as F. Should have postponed the Crucible a day, and this story wouldn't be here. Glad she was okay. Didn't know heat could affect in such a long way. Yes, not only if you get a heat injury can it leave you with permanent injuries, psychological, physical, but also you're more susceptible to heat injuries in the future because your body might lose the ability to self-regulate temperature. So if you have a heat injury, you might never be able to go out in the heat again. You might be permanently damaged as far as your ability to be out in the heat. Now, I'm no doctor or medical professional, but I do know these things a little bit from first aid training, heat injury training in the Navy, whatever I remember. And they're very, very serious injuries. Hot and cold weather injuries are very, very serious. So when I joke about them in my recent videos, they are not a laughing matter. And we're out there. I mean, I'll tell you the truth, though. On a hot day out here in Okinawa, it's 100 degrees. I'll wait until noon and go run because I think I got to test myself every once in a while. You got to go out there in the heat and just suffer in the cold and just suffer once in a while. You got to do it sometimes to make sure you can still do it. You got to take care of yourself, though. Listen to your body. Don't do it if it feels wrong. Stop. Drink a lot of water. Always have a backup plan. Let people know what you're doing, how long you expect to be gone, things like that. And just like if you're going on a hike or something like that, and take care of yourself. We've got a tragedy. We've got a tragedy out here in Okinawa. Unfortunately, I have to report that Marine Corps working dog trainer dies after being swept out to sea off Okinawa. That sucks. The ocean is dangerous. The ocean is scary. The ocean is deadly, and it's powerful, and it's humbling. I just want you guys to all keep that in mind, okay? So we've got the body of a Marine who went missing June 5th while swimming off Okinawa has been recovered and identified, U.S. and Japanese officials said Friday. Corporal Eric John Nis de Jesus, 24 years old, Mountain Lake, Minnesota, was a military working dog trainer, a Marine Corps Pacific Installations, according to First Lieutenant Ashley Farrow, who told Stars and Stripes in an email. De Jesus, assigned to Camp Kinzer, which is just south of where I'm at in Okinawa, went missing while swimming with colleagues near a reef, according to a spokesman for the Japanese Coast Guard in Naha, which is the big city out here in Okinawa down south. The Marine had been swept out to sea by a large wave. The Coast Guard was called out about the incident at 4:45 p.m. that day, used helicopters and patrol boats to search until around noon on June 7th. The body was found Wednesday afternoon in the sea about 1,000 feet off Odo Beach in Itaman, according to the spokesman. Marine Corps is working closely with officials to determine the facts surrounding his death. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. He had a bachelor's degree in animal science from the University of Minnesota, was recently selected for the enlisted commissioning program the Marine Corps announced in April. He was slated to attend officer candidate school later this year and aspired to be a combat arms officer. That's horrible. That's horrible. He was incredibly loved, and we have felt it from each of you. His mother, Jessica Blom, wrote on social media, according to a Thursday report by CBS. God has blessed us with a community that knows exactly how to lift up and support each other. That's so sad. I thought I was going to drown out here in Okinawa once, to be completely honest. I was trapped in some waves. I had my mask and snorkel ripped off while diving. I think I told you guys this story before. And I thought I was going to die. I was like, I'm going to be the next person who drowns out here in Okinawa. That's what I thought. So it was really super scary. And I feel horrible reading that. It's a very real thing. So if you guys are going out in the ocean, make sure you practice ocean safety. Don't be afraid to take a flotation device. It doesn't make you a coward or weak or anything like that. Just take care of yourself. Though you can go out there, the ocean can look calm. It can turn on you in a second. You can get caught in a rip current or a wave or something like that, and it happens that fast. And then by the time you realize you're in trouble, it's too late. Nugget says rip currents are no joke, and waves, keep that in mind. OCS, again, ocean, no joke. Yeah, it is really bad. It's tough. That sucks. So fair winds and following seas. Justin, I've been in the ocean once and I thought I was going to die. Justin, by the way, if you guys weren't here for Friday's show, Justin won on a totally separate note. Justin won the Yoga Sleep Node raffle on Friday's show. So he's going to be getting that this summer. Congratulations, Justin. That's a big prize. That's a $400 prize. And to everybody who might be watching who won t-shirts, congratulations to you guys too. And thank you for watching that episode. And if you guys want more information, you can go to the Exist Tribe website. It's if you go back and find that episode, the link is on there. And I think it's existtribe.com anyway, if you guys want to go there. And as a reminder, Johnny Walker, codename Johnny Walker, that book is out there. And as a last reminder, hey, take a second to check out Patreon or become a member of this channel. Support, if you're in here every day, 5 days a week, 5 to 8 hours a week, 30, 40 hours a month with me, consider joining as a member or on Patreon. If you join as an elite patron, you got a free t-shirt on your second month. If you join as a member, you get that special icon next to your name. You get your text highlighted for me and all that. So check all that stuff out. If you want to buy some merch, ScuttleButtShow.com for all your ScuttleButt merch, like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, the super legit t-shirt, the desk mat, the mouse pad, all that stuff. So check it out. Now, a story I've been covering for years, almost since the beginning of the ScuttleButt Show. I've been covering a story. And I'm going to continue covering it until it's completely resolved, because there's been twists and turns. And if you guys have been watching a while, you've heard all of that from me. But let's jump over here and talk about this trial for the Marine Raider. So it comes down to this. The SEALs involved, the civilians involved. The last person involved who hasn't pled guilty or anything is this Marine Raider. He's going to court-martial. Trial begins for a Marine accused in soldiers hazing death. We've got a military prosecutor tell it. U.S. Marine Mario Madera Rodriguez was tasked with smashing open the bedroom door of a U.S. Army Green Beret with a sledgehammer and then turning on some music. Another Marine was supposed to remove the Green Beret's mosquito netting from around his bed. A Navy SEAL would choke the Green Beret into unconsciousness, while a second SEAL would tie him up and duct tape him. Their plan was to haze him that night to humiliate him, but they killed him. The Green Beret, Staff Sergeant Logan Melgar of Lubbock, Texas, died of strangulation. Madera Rodriguez is one of 4 American service members charged in Melgar's 2017 hazing death in Africa, where the men were serving together. So, if you guys remember me talking about all these crazy scenarios that were going on about sexual assault and that this possibly was drug-related or something like that, it's going to trial now. So the trial has begun. They've selected the jury. Madera Rodriguez, who belongs to a special operations group in the Marines known as the Raiders, is the only one of the 4 men to plead not guilty. The others have already made plea deals and may testify at his trial. Philip starting to train with $5 dono. Thank you, Philip, for your support. It means a lot to me that you would jump in and do that. I appreciate it. You're out here all the time with that, and you're a member, and you're a patron. You're everything that I just appreciate so much, and it means a lot. So thank you, Philip. I know you're always trying to get it started for me. I'm waiting for the day when I get the actual train going. So I do appreciate it so much. You have no idea. And it all goes to making this channel bigger and better. Been to battles. What's up? WTF? Is that actual Navy SEALs killing a Green Beret? Yes, it is. It is actual Navy SEALs killing a Green Beret. That's exactly what happened. And we've been covering this story for several years. Philip, thank you again. So their plan was to teach Melgar a lesson as some of the angry servicemen retreated to a bar, then a club, then a shawarma restaurant. As the drinks began to flow, their designs for humiliation came to include a Malian guard at the base who would strip naked, wear a leash and collar, and pose next to an unconscious Melgar. So this is what I was telling you guys about. This is what I was trying to tell you guys. This was the plan that I heard reported, that I was trying to reiterate to you guys. You heard it here first on the ScuttleButt Show, and now it's coming out in this trial. They can't hide it any longer. Their plan was to get a local Malian guard to strip naked, wear a leash and a collar, and pose next to an unconscious Melgar. That's what's coming out in this trial. The prosecutor walked the jury of sailors and Marines through what he said happened that night, from Madera Rodriguez smashing the door and providing the soundtrack to Melgar's strangulation, his body going limp from the Navy SEALs chokehold. These 4 men weren't terrorists. They weren't insurgents. They weren't local criminals. They were American service members, special operators who betrayed their fellow comrade, their brother in arms. Unbelievable. SEAL Tony Didoff, who already pled guilty, described the planned prank on Melgar as a tape job. The plan had been to show Melgar a video of the incident sometimes later. So basically to sexual assault him and then use it to blackmail and humiliate him. How ridiculously horrible is that? Justin with a super chat. Justin with a super chat of $4.99. Wow, thank you so much. MC with $4.99. Holy smokes, the train is going. Philip did start the train. We've got super chats coming in. MC $4.99, Justin $4.99. Wow, thank you guys so much. Holy smokes. I've never seen 3 on the screen at one time before. That's incredible. Thank you guys so much. MC, who's been a supporter of the channel for a long time, thank you. It is an honor to have you here in the chat. Justin, thank you. Congratulations again on you winning the raffle. That's so awesome. I'm so glad that it went to one of the viewers of the ScuttleButt Show who's in here all the time. I appreciate that you got to win that. It really meant a lot to me to see that happen. I've accidentally strangled someone, but how do you know you accidentally kill him? That's like over 15 seconds of strangling him like they should have known. Nuggets, actually, I'm impressed that you know that it can only take 15 seconds. That's good that you know that. Some people might think it would take minutes, but it actually only takes seconds in a what you would call a blood choke to kill somebody and permanently damage them. Wow, I'm so blown away by these donos. Thank you guys so much. So what I suspect happened here is, well, I don't know. Because they all pled guilty to this hazing incident. So it sounds like they were planning to do this horrible, insanely inappropriate hazing incident, which I would have been so pissed if this, let's say he didn't die and this happened the way that they say it was supposed to happen, I'd still be super pissed. Like, I would want to have see them go to jail for that. That's sexual assault. That's assault, brother. So you can't be doing that. Totally crazy. So now that the facts are out in trial, it was their plan to sexually assault this guy and then use it as humiliation and probably blackmail on him. I think it was blackmail. That's my guess. All right, I don't know. I don't have more facts than what are in this article and what you can read online, but you wouldn't secretly videotape somebody being sexually assaulted by a local unless you were planning on using it for blackmail. You wouldn't just do that for embarrassment. You would keep it in-house. You would keep it just to you guys. There's more to the story here. I'm glad everyone's getting in big trouble. Who would think of something like this to do to someone and everyone was okay with it? That's what I'm saying, Justin. I think it was blackmail. There's a theory that they were up to no good, up to some other bad stuff, and they tried to do this as blackmail, but because he died, obviously it did not go as planned, and it turned into this murder trial, or manslaughter is what it is. So hopefully the Marine here is found responsible for his part in this whole thing and pays the correct punishment as seen fit by the jury and the court there, the court martial, whoever the judge is, and there can be some closure finally for the family there. Let's see, 3 times combo. Yes, it always involves drinking. No good ideas ever come from a night of drinking. If they were wasted drunk and then they did this, you can lose track of time. You can lose track of what you're doing. You can be a little bit more physical with somebody than you think, and you have very little concept of what the consequences might be. So I guess I could see that happening like that. Embarrassing story, zoned out while checking email, snap back to reality. He looked at me like, bro, WTF. But back to the blackmail, bro. That is a lot of effort for a prank. Yeah. We had an electrician's mate pass out one night from drinking, and we shaved off half of his mustache. It took him half a day to realize because hangovers suck. Hangovers do suck. If you guys follow my Instagram story, I posted a funny picture of ET, and it's like on the hospital bed and said, when you try to party when you're in your 30s, and that's so true. Yeah, drawing on somebody's face, shaving off their mustache, now that's a prank. Murdering somebody is not a prank. Raping somebody is not a prank, okay? Sexually assaulting somebody is not a prank. This makes me sick. Brothers doing this to brothers, but does American Special Operations interact with each other all the time? Oh, all the time. Been to battles. That's very common. It's very common for SEALs, Green Berets, Raiders, Rangers, CCTs, Air Force Special Operations, PJs, to Army's 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. All of them work together all the time. It's very common, actually. Very common. When I was deployed in Afghanistan in 2013 and 14, I was with a team of Green Berets the entire time. I was Navy, right? If you don't know. I was with the Green Berets the entire time, and because there was a few Navy people out there, we had a SEAL come through, rotate, and go on a couple operations with us, and then he left. And it's very common, very common. And you can ask SEALs what they think of Green Berets, and Green Berets what they think of SEALs, and you get your own all your opinions. But they'll all have their opinions on each other. Want to see my great-great-grandfather's World War I moto pic? Yes, definitely. Instagram or email that to me at thescuttlebuttshow@gmail.com, and I would definitely check that out. We've got more news, and we got a lot actually. Big day, big Monday. The Air Force, as you guys know, paving the way on uniform regulations right now. Paving the way. Long hair, don't care. Air Force adjusts new hair standards for women after feedback. You would think, off of reading this headline, maybe what they adjusted was stricter regulations. But no, looser regulations, actually. So it's already revising its new looser regulations governing how female airmen wear their hair after getting feedback from women in the field. So the original deal was they could wear their hair in up to 2 braids or a single ponytail as long as it did not exceed the width of their heads. And I was kind of like, how does the width of a ponytail exceeds your head. Like I didn't even understand, and it couldn't go past the bottom of their shoulder blades, but they're like, never mind, it's all good. You can extend further if it's secured in a bun, braid, ponytail, or other similar hairstyle. Women's hair then will be allowed to extend a total width of 12 inches. That's like this. Like what even kind of hairstyle is that? Women still must be able to properly wear hats or other headgear if their hair extends beyond the width of their heads. I don't even know what kind of hairstyle that is. I don't even have a good example. Like it's not this. It's not in the picture here. If you're listening on a podcast, this is like a double braid ponytail type situation. Now, I will say, going through the gate, I've talked about this. There's been women with, their hair down in long ponytails as the gate guards, and it gets me for a second. I'm like, what? My Navy senior enlisted instincts kick in, and I want to like freak out. But then I'm like, first of all, I'm not in the military. Second of all, it's all good. It's like great. And it's within regulation. It's just it's a culture shock. You get that culture shock feeling, and you have to like really check yourself for a second and go, oh, this is not a big deal. So whether we're talking about hair, uniforms, or forums for sharing ideas, an approach that embraces diversity and fosters an inclusive environment is critical to ensuring our talented, dedicated airmen stay with us on this journey. Chief Master Sergeant Joanne Bass, who is one of the most controversial and maybe not good on social media leaders the Air Force has ever had. So her opinion is always a little tainted now for me. They tried the old Dr. Baudreau ploy, a passed out guy with a picture of somebody's junk near his face. They got like legal measures for hair, like catching fish. Nuggets, we would have in the Navy, it would not be uncommon for a chief or somebody to walk around with a ruler and the uniform regulation for mustaches or hair in their pocket, and they would go measure mustache hairs. It was crazy. It was so crazy. I was never into it. I was a long hair person. I wanted to have my hair long. I always had my sideburns long. Pro Hero 22, yet no beards, lame. Welcome to the chat, Pro Hero. And yes, no beards is kind of lame. I think they should just have beards, or they should just come out and say that there is no actual reason other than we said so to not have them. I think they mean length. No, they said width, Philip. Width. And they said it multiple times. So I think they meant it. I just don't understand it. 12 inches in width for a ponytail? I mean, it's beyond me, but I don't know that much about women's hairstyles to really say. So I'm going to assume that I just don't know. Police that mustache. Yes, that's exactly right. Police that mustache. So we would have people walk around with rulers. They want to measure hair. They want to measure sideburns. They want to quote the regulation. Oh my gosh, get a job. That's what I would always think that. And honestly, it's like just such not a big deal. Email sent, put it on the screen. Okay, I'll check at the end. I'll check near the end of the show because there's so much that I got to get to. Thank you, Jacob, for sending it. Worst case scenario, if I can't get to it today, it'll be tomorrow. We had beards for my first 2 years. Nice. Sir, why is there such regulations of hair and mustache? Because that's what they say. I mean, honestly, it's just because that's what they say. They used to say it's for gas masks. Then they used to say it's for combat. Then they used to say it's for good order and discipline. And it's probably that. It's probably good order and discipline. It's just uniform regulations. So every person in the military looks similar. But you, as always, you've seen probably, special operations downrange with beards. And there's all these, long haircuts for special operations. And basically those people don't follow the regulations strictly. But it's more or less because they said so. MC says, I'm a female. I believe the regulation would be in place for safety issues, correct? Having in a bun would eliminate it being pulled into machinery, or if you were in a hand-to-hand battle being pulled. Yes, MC. So the hand-to-hand battle thing, I don't think is as applicable because a bun could get pulled too. You know what I mean? Like, I've thought about this. Like, the idea that you would be in hand-to-hand battle and getting your hair pulled would be the thing that causes you to get killed is kind of, I don't quite buy into it. If you find yourself in hand-to-hand battle in the military, you should be armed with at least a primary weapon, probably a secondary weapon, a knife. You should be trained in combatives, all that stuff. So you should be able to handle it. Plus, it's very rare that people in the military have found themselves in modern war, especially in the last 10 years, in hand-to-hand combat, life and death hand-to-hand combat. It's happened, but it's pretty rare. So it's pretty unlikely. Now, the safety issue about getting your hair pulled into things, yes. Getting your hair caught on things. If it was me, okay, if it was me, I wouldn't want to have long hair because I already get my short hair caught in things. The clips on my helmet. When I had a beard in Afghanistan, I had a 6-month-long, overgrown, disgusting beard, and I hated it, actually. I couldn't wait to shave it. It was just such a problem. Every time I would take a bite of food, beard in my mouth. Every time I would clip my helmet, beard getting caught. It was just so annoying. And yes, if you're working in aviation, if you're working around moving parts, mechanical things, you would not want your hair dangling. That's common sense. So I hope that females in the Air Force are considering that, and they're not just going out there with their ponytails dangling while they're working on crazy moving parts and getting them caught in doors or tight places, when all these like sharp metal corners that exist in like military vehicles and aircraft. And man, I could see it becoming a whole mess. Let's see. Royal Navy has beards. Yes, they do. Sounds dangerous to have leniency. It depends. You have to do it smartly. You have to do it smartly. That's for sure. Reminds me, I got to get a haircut. No long hair around rotating machinery. Yes, for sure. Sir, I heard special operations are allowed to keep beards because they will have to blend in with the locals. There is some truth to that. Like in Afghanistan, they respect beards out there. Plus, it's a reputation thing. So if you're in Afghanistan or Iraq and they see a beard, they're going to assume that you are somebody special, somebody not to F with. Beards are itchy and short hairs lets the air flow in. Yep. Been to battles. Where are you from? What's your, I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, so welcome. And Pro Hero also. Where are you from? What brought you to my channel? Battlefield, I bet. Let's see. For anyone out there interested in the entertainment industry, which a lot of veterans are. I am. I do filmmaking, got the documentary that I'm working on. I like to write. I like to do skits. Obviously, you guys saw that yesterday or today, whenever you saw it. I've got something here for you. Foundation promotes movie careers for disabled vets. You want to get into movies? Here's the way. So Jeff Jensen believes his latest project is giving back. After a long career as a Hollywood and movie and TV stuntman, he has retired. Now he's putting all his energy into a foundation called Soldier to Cinema. Soldier to Cinema. It is designed to help disabled military veterans train for jobs in the film industry. So you can go here to their website, soldiertocinema.org. Hang on one second. Let me drop it in the chat. Been to battle, subbed yesterday. Yes. Yesterday was a big day for me. Soldier to Cinema Foundation. I work in print shop, no long hair, long sleeves, or rings. Yes, Philip. Yeah, you just can't. It's too risky. So Soldier to Cinema Foundation, they've got the old Sergeant First Class rank on here, or, gunnery sergeant, whatever you want to be. Soldier to Cinema Foundation mission statement, providing disabled veterans paid vocational training for new careers in the film industry. So according to the article, which I found on the Chinook Observer, there are kids coming back from the desert with disabilities and haven't had their lives yet, but they are missing arms and legs. Now, that's obviously an extreme example, but they have any disabled veteran can apply. I think that you do have to be a disabled veteran. Some disability service connected, I think, gets it done. They do ask for you to submit your DD-214 along with this, but I think there's no limit on how long you've been out or anything like that. He has scripts ready. Maybe you can get those scripts made with a veteran crew. The concept is to provide paying jobs and training. He is also working to encourage the various industry unions to fast track the veterans, and he feels like he's getting a lot back from doing this. So let's take a look at the website here. The Soldier to Cinema Foundation is a charitable foundation whose mission is to provide the disabled veterans vocational training to begin new careers in the motion picture industry. Soldier to Cinema strives to provide the highest level of training, mentored and trained by award-winning film industry veterans. Our board of directors alone has combined a total of 150 plus years of experience, thousands of movie and TV credits, along with the numerous awards. So you can get involved here. You can donate. You can apply. And what's cool is if you look at the jobs that they have, you could be an executive producer, a producer, production assistant, writer, writer's assistant, director, second unit director, production manager. They have opportunities to train you on all these jobs. And if you go to the application here, you can put on, if you look at the application, you can go on here, you can say what you want to do, film crew, director, transportation, production, post-production. You can provide your disability. It asks for the date, level of disability, all that stuff. So that probably they want to know what they can get you in for a job. So you can fill out this application. You do need a DD-214 also. So you do have to be a veteran. Let's see. Pro Hero says, Nikki MGTV brought me over. I'm a Coastie in Kings Bay, Georgia. Enjoying your channel, brother. Oh, thanks very much for jumping in. Coast Guard. I don't talk that much about the Coast Guard, but I do love the Coast Guard. I saw the Coast Guard when I was in Afghanistan, which is crazy. People wouldn't think you would see the Coast Guard in Afghanistan, but they were there. Let's see. What's in the gallery here? The gallery. Anything going on here? Do you got any pictures of what they're doing? What about the refund policy? Let's see. If you donate, you shouldn't ask for a refund. That's my opinion. If you donate money to a charity, you should probably not ask for a refund. So, sir, do you have PTSD from the battles? I'm from India and you were getting an international following, and I'm a military aspirant currently doing engineering. Do I have PTSD? That's an interesting question. I've been diagnosed with it, and there's a broad spectrum of it. I would just say that post-traumatic stress is common. It's not only for military and veterans. Anybody could suffer from PTSD. It is nothing to be ashamed of. It's something you should be able to talk about openly. And it's a very, very broad spectrum of the way it affects people. And I'll just leave it at that. And thank you for, subbing and checking me out from India. That's awesome. What time is it in India right now? So, yeah, these are some old pics. It looks like these are from like the 90s or something. But I'm definitely interested. I might apply and just let them know, hey, I'm in Okinawa. I'm interested in getting involved somehow. What can I do? What can I do? Writer team, what can I do? So I'll probably check that out. And I'll let you guys know what happens with that. So that's a pretty cool program. I just thought I would let you guys know about that. Let's see. Anything going on in chat here? How you guys doing out there? You hanging in there? Battlefield like Honey Badger. Battlefield like Honey Badger. Yes, Gamer with Guns. What's up? Welcome to the chat. So we've got I gave you guys the headline stories here. We haven't talked about either of them yet, but we're coming down to it. We are coming down to it. We've got the Space Force story. What is the Space Force really up to? What is the Space Force's true mission? How about this? Cocaine worth $1.2 million washes ashore at Florida Space Force Station, which is exactly what I would say, too, if I was a Space Force kid at the barracks that had to get rid of $1.2 million worth of cocaine. So, you ever wonder how the Space Force built multiple bases, put satellites in space, established a branch, established a boot camp, and established a whole new branch, like a whole new way that the military does business in a year? $1.2 million worth of cocaine. That's how. We've got this story here that I thought was so funny. I mean, if you had to ditch a bunch of drugs, then the beach in Florida is the place to do it. So let's check out this video here from Fox Orlando and see what they have to say about it.
Kilos of cocaine washing ashore on the Space Coast. Take a look at this massive stockpile of drugs. That is worth more than $1 million on the street. And as Fox 35's Andrea Lyon reports, it could be connected to other cocaine investigations along the coast.
The shells, of course.
Seaweed, shells, an occasional piece of trash.
We were lucky enough to see the right whale go by.
Most can't compare their rare beach discoveries to this one.
She knew what this was because she had notified us before.
A wildlife manager with the 45th Security Force Squadron stumbled across this when she was really looking for sea turtles nesting.
Discovered a grand total of 24 more packages.
A closer look, and more than $1.25 million worth of cocaine littered the sand. And this isn't law enforcement's first find of this size. The 45th Squadron tells me just in the past few months, agencies have recovered around $5 million worth of cocaine all along Florida's East Coast.
Okay, so if they found $1.2 million worth of coke and they found $5 million in the last year, whatever they said, imagine how much they miss. Pro Hero, what's the deal? How much cocaine gets through undetected in dollar value? If $5 million gets caught, how much gets through? Balls of weed have been washing up onto Florida shores for decades. That's insane. Why is the sea more whiter than usual? Why are the fish acting up? Why are all fish becoming jumping fish?
The entire state side on the eastern during a 3-day kind of windstorm where we had the winds blowing from east to west.
The Keys, Miami, Jacksonville, and now Cape Canaveral with Brevard County.
Gives a new meaning to the Keys because that looked like about 25 keys of cocaine.
Sheriff's Office taking over the investigation. Investigators saying a boater likely came in close contact with possible law enforcement and ditched it.
Better to dump the drugs overboard than go to prison for long periods of time.
Pretty amazing that this stuff can just wash up on shore, especially where, you see there's kids everywhere.
Andrea Lyon, Fox 35 News.
Chief, I didn't do any drugs. I just went swimming. I didn't party with coke all weekend. I just went for a swim in the ocean. It's the ocean. The ocean has the cocaine. The ocean made me do it. Sarge was just washed up. Wouldn't know. Yeah, I have no idea what this package could be. I must take it to someone. That Gulf Stream is fast. Cocaine's one hell of a drug. Yeah, that's what was not Eddie Murphy, but his brother or whatever, right? Charlie Murphy on Chappelle's show. Yes, that was pretty funny. Chief, I don't know. Or what would it be in Space Force? Space Chief, I don't know. Sarge, I'm looking for a package sent by my family in Colombia. Okie Sapling, what's up? Thank you for the great comment earlier. I'm looking for a package sent by my family to Colombia. Well, I'm going to my local beach now. Yeah, how crazy is that? Space Force, now we know the truth about the Space Force. They've been so busy, it's like they haven't slept because they've been on coke for, I don't know, a year and a half? Yeah. I feel like maybe the Space Force needs to come clean. Maybe those rockets are launching coke into space for some reason. I don't know. Maybe that's what the aliens are here for. Wait a second.
Well, duh.
It's so obvious. The aliens are coming down to Earth to get the coke, and the Space Force is in cahoots. So they're getting it. They're shipping it up into inner space, bordering outer space. The aliens come down. They cruise through. That's why they're going into the ocean, because, they go into the ocean, they get it. Some of it gets left behind, right? It's the cost of doing business. Then they go fly back into space. They party. They got to come back and get it. Probably those drug-running sea turtles again. Coke for the aliens. Coke rockets. Yeah. I mean, it's clear now. It's clear. Now I can see things clearly. It's been right in our face all along. The truth on why the United States needed the Space Force is to smuggle cocaine off Earth. They get it everywhere else. They get the drugs everywhere else. Why not off Earth? Why not off Earth too? Send it. Full send. Good job, Space Force. Bravo, Zulu. The Space Force is, you know what happens when you do a bunch of cocaine in the Space Force? You go straight up.
Super Saiyan.
That's it. You do. Give coke and no invasion, the duty of mighty USA to protect the Earth. So, you're not going to find on YouTube somebody more open-minded than me. Okay? I challenge you. But I'm realistic too. Okay? And I don't get everything that everyone's doing. I don't know. Let's see. I'll transfer over to the Space Force Guard. Hell yeah, Pro Hero says. This is what the aliens have been experimenting on people for, testing drugs for their own use. Yes. So like I said, I'm pretty open-minded dude. And I don't get everything, but I believe in one thing. Anyone should be allowed to live their life however they want, as long as they're not hurting anybody else. Total independence, freedom, less government. We don't need government telling people how to live their lives if they want to make their personal choices. Totally fine with me. You're not going to find any pushback on any of that from me. Marry whoever you want, live wherever you want, dress however you want, shop wherever you want, eat whatever you want, do whatever you want. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, it is all good. Do it. I support it 100%. Okay? And now, there's been obviously a lot of pushback on the transgender personnel in the military. But it's happening. Trans is okay in the military. And I'm going to tell you guys some stuff today. And I'll start with this. I've known several people who've transitioned. I wore my Super Saiyan shirt yesterday, Joan says. Nice. I've known several people who've transitioned from male to female, female to male, that I've served with in the military. Whatever. I want them to be happy. Just go and check out China. They're introducing a new credit system. I just want people to be happy, okay? If I serve with them, I know a lot of great people. I just want them to be happy. Be happy, live your life. It's all good. Now, it's tough when you get people who are, hated on for the way that they choose to live their life, all this stuff. And Vice just did a story on a soldier who is transitioning from male to female, and they made a little video about it. So we're going to watch this video and see what happens when you want to expose to your command, to your battle buddies, that you're transitioning. Let's see. Lakewood, Washington. So this is our gentleman here, or ma'am. Geez, I actually don't even know what to say.
Just donating a bunch of...
So this is a transgender woman, which I know is something you have to think about, right? Because this appears to be a man. This is a transgender woman named Jessica Haught, who I believe will be referred to as her and she, right? As far as pronouns go. And she is going about her day, and she is going to be talking to her command, the military, about transition from male to female.
Old clothes that, frankly, I'm not ever going to wear again. Just old jackets and polos that someone else can appreciate.
So it looks like he's turning in his male clothes that are gendered for men, giving those back to Goodwill so somebody else can wear them. Yeah, that's nice of him to do, or her to do. I'll probably make that mistake a few times, and I don't mean it deliberately or to be insensitive. It's just probably something that's going to happen, to be totally honest.
It's been 2.5 months since Jessica Haught came out as transgender.
What's on your list that you might need?
A good concealer for myself. I've already gotten myself like some eyeshadow, but mainly like something to cover up like some blemishes.
I'm gonna hand this to you.
Okay.
If you want to get it closer to the mirror, you can. Just put a little bit on this one. Oh, that looks good.
Yeah, I think I can blend that out pretty.
Oh, you can see her nails are painted. It's more difficult to remember to use a female gender pronoun to describe somebody when they look completely like a male still physically. It's easier if the person has already transitioned to, go about that. But if I do say he or him or anything like that, it's only because it's just what I'm seeing with my eyes. And then I'm trying to remember to be as inclusive as possible. I'm down with all that stuff. I'm down with it totally.
There is one place she hasn't come out, her job. How does a sergeant and chemical specialist in the Army, a workplace not exactly known...
So he appears to be a staff sergeant, or she appears to be a staff sergeant and in the Army, and a chemical specialist. So there's a whole branch of the Army that works with, chemicals, CBR, chemical, biological, radiological. We have them out here in Oak now as well. It's actually a pretty interesting job. It's something that's very technical, depending on what you're doing with it, and you can work on all kinds of stuff. There's a lot to it.
Acceptance. For now, she's on leave, taking time to make the rest of her life reflect her true identity.
So this is a new place.
Yeah, I have not been here before, but I've always heard of good things.
Hi,
Joe?
Yeah, you just checking in for your haircut?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Joe.
Hi, Jessica.
Nice to meet you. Come on in.
Okay.
What are we looking to do today for your hair?
Okay, so I'm in the military,
Okay.
right? I want to try and keep as much length up top as I can. Definitely more around the ears and tapered, just lined up in the back.
Right.
One of the first things President Biden...
Getting a haircut's pretty traumatic for me too when I was in the Navy. I did not want that haircut. I was always so sad. Always so sad to go in and get a haircut. If they raised my sideburns too much, I'd be so pissed. Yeah. I can see how a haircut would be a stressful situation, because it always was for me too.
...did when he took office was to reverse the trans ban in the military. It was an important shift, given that the Department of Defense is the biggest employer in the country. Haught's first step will be to officially come out to her commanding officer. Until then, she'll have to return to work following the Army's strict standards for male grooming.
How do you feel getting your hair cut short again to go back to work?
So they have to, she's going to have to still maintain male grooming standards. So no long hair, no nail polish, no long fingernails, still following, mustache rules, and which I doubt she'll have a mustache, but just as an example, all those male grooming standards will still apply to her now that she is confirming that she is transitioning.
Saddened. I've been living my past 3 weeks as myself and who I really am, and now I am doing something to conform to a standard or an expectation. So it kind of feels in a way like I'm kind of giving something up that I had finally gotten a hold of for the first time in my life. I mean, it's just a haircut, and it seems like it should be pretty simple, but it's important.
Is it worth it?
I don't know. I mean, in a way, I don't really have much of a choice. I mean, I joined the military. I know the expectations.
There you go. I really respect that comment. I joined the military. I know the expectations. I'm always saying that. Everyone who joins the military should know what's expected of you. Fitness, grooming standards, showing up to work on time, not doing drugs, not getting in trouble, going on deployment, all this stuff should never be shocking to somebody. That's always my problem. When people join the military and then they all of a sudden want the military to change for them, right? It doesn't sound like that's what happened here. Jessica, right? Jessica served for many years, it appears. Staff sergeant, looks like she's maybe in her 30s, maybe. I hope I'm not too insulting there. But served under the transgender ban policy for a long time. And so now that that's changed, there's some new steps that she can take to pursue and continue her career out. I always go back to don't ask, don't tell. Don't ask, don't tell was this whole thing that people thought was going to be the end of the military. It was so horrible for so many people getting kicked out of the military. If somebody found out that they were gay or lesbian, they couldn't marry the people that they loved. They couldn't move their spouse, the person that they chose to live their life with, overseas or anything like that. So I thought that was horrible. So I always say with people who are against the transgender military policy, in 10 years, is this just going to be the next don't ask, don't tell where it really was not a big deal at all? That's what I think, is that's really not a big deal at all. That's where I stand with it.
I mean, right now, I do want to continue serving, but it's complicated.
Even as rules become more trans-friendly, it doesn't mean the same will happen with the military's conservative culture, which Hout has dealt with personally.
Every day was just a struggle. I would go to work and not want to be there because of things I might overhear in the workplace.
What would you hear?
People who are transgender are mentally ill. Like the Army Times actually published an article recently about a Army chaplain saying that transgender soldiers are mentally ill.
I do remember that, and we covered it on the story about the Army chaplain who said trans soldiers should not be allowed to serve or suffering from mental illness. I don't know. I'm not a mental health professional, but I do, and this is what I've said on the show before, that removing removing transgender as barring someone from military service should not additionally remove diagnoses of depression and anxiety and make them okay too. Because as of right now, if you have diagnosed medical conditions like depression and anxiety, PTSD, you may not be able to join the military. If you have schizophrenia, bipolar, manic, depressive, all these mental health disorders, you can't just join the military. At best, you need to get a waiver, and then you can maybe join with a waiver. But even then, it's extremely difficult. So removing the ban on transgender troops as its only sole disqualification, I get that. What I hope is that it doesn't mean that in addition to that, they're just going to say every single, person who's trans can't be disqualified no matter what. And as long as it's treated that way, then it's fine with me. Obviously, because so many trans people have already been serving, but in the undercover, hiding it. There's been trans people serving in the military forever. This person has obviously been in the military for years and years, and they want to continue to serve. I know people that I serve with, like I said, who got out and transitioned from male to female or female to male. So this isn't new. It's not like there's going to be a giant influx of trans people. I don't think all of a sudden there's just going to be opportunity for people who are already serving to serve openly. I think that's more what's going to happen.
People are nervous and scared of the things they don't know about.
I don't know about black toenail polish.
How do you feel going back today?
Pretty optimistic, actually. I know who I am now. Before it was kind of a struggle trying to figure out exactly my identity and really just like the core of what's here.
The DoD's new policy for trans troops, like much of military life, involves a lot of bureaucracy. Troops need to request approval from their commander to even start a medical transition. Every step after that also needs approval, including the timing of treatment and when to change gender markers.
Which is not unique to transgender service members. Any elective surgery in the military has to go along with being approved by your command and not interfering with your work. Additionally, you might have to obla serve. And I've been talking about this for a while. People are always like, the military can't pay for gender reassignment surgery. What are you talking about? It's the least of the things military is going to be wasting its money on. And then if that person then has to obla-serve for 4, 5, 6 years or something like that, great. Then they get what they want. The military gets what they want. They get to keep a trained person in instead of kicking a trained person out and having to retrain somebody else and maybe losing a better person. It's just like any other elective surgery. People in the military get elective. This is what civilians don't get. People in the military get elective surgeries all the time on the military's dime. I, for example, got PRK, corrective eye surgery. It's not mandatory. It wasn't mandatory for my job or anything like that. It did improve my life a great deal. In exchange, I was re-enlisting for 4 years of my life for that surgery, which is like $2,000 or something like that. I re-enlisted in the Navy for 4 years in order to be eligible for that surgery, or else they wouldn't have done it for me. I'm pretty sure gender reassignment surgery, any of these selective surgeries are going to be treated exactly the same. And that's why it really is not as big of a deal to have the surgery as people are making it out to be.
Different branches have introduced their plans to implement this policy, but the Army still hasn't.
Joint Base Lewis Accord.
So for
Joint Base Lewis
the
McCord.
road ahead is long and uncertain.
So we're outside the main gates to the base, waiting for Jess to meet us after getting off work, and we're going to hear how it went when she came out to one of her commanders.
All right, so here's the test.
How did it go?
Went actually great.
There you go.
Walked by the office like 2 or 3 times before I decided to go in.
You're just like back and forth.
Yeah, just kind of back and forth, and then finally just was like, you know what, just get in and do it. And just walked in, just knocked on the door and just said, hey, ma'am, do you have a minute just to talk? And told her like, hey, you know, I've been kind of figuring stuff out for myself over the past few months, and went right to it and was like, hey, I'm transgender and I am going to transition. And at first I could tell, like, you know, it's caught her off guard, like it's not what she was expecting. But as I talked about it, you could just see like the support just from her. I could just feel like this acceptance, and I could not have gone better.
So what's next for your transition?
So mostly just getting my medical treatment plan outlined, and following that, as of right now, putting in an exception to policy to allow me to start presenting myself at work as who I am. And I wish I could just go ahead and do it now. I wish I could just come into work and just be authentically myself and not feel like I need to wait for permission. I think the Army's taking the right steps.
I think that's really what it is, right? This whole thing, to me, in my mind, isn't about opening the doors for 1 million trans service members to just appear at the recruiter's office and join the military. This is more about the people who are already serving, who are hiding their personalities, their real selves, the way that they choose to live their lives, who are otherwise honorable, good, talented service members, to just, you know, be out of the closet, so to speak, on trans issues, just like people were about gay issues 10 years ago before we appealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So to me, this is not a huge problem. There's certainly, at this point, no reason to think that this is a threat to the military or the United States.
I think we'll get there.
What a great example of what it could mean to be trans in the military, just based on that Vice documentary. I think that people need to see that, because that is just a soldier who wants to live their life, okay? Why should we have barriers in place to that? If he chooses to, or if she chooses to have these elective surgeries to transition, I am confident that they will come with a price tag of obla service, meaning that they will stay in longer, spending more time in the Army. And I think that there's no downside to that. Honestly, seriously. So what do you guys think? Should trans service members be allowed to serve, or should it be disqualifying? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. So let me see what's going on here with the comments on the live stream. Let's see. By the way, thanks for hanging out and watching that with me, guys. That was, it's good. We retained all the viewers during that segment, so I appreciate that. Let's see. Asking females, what's your opinion on trans women in female quarters, showers that have not transitioned yet? Good question, Larry. I don't know how many females are in the chat on this show right now, but that's a great question. Got to be tough. Needs understanding. I think so too. It needs understanding and not judgment. If somebody's doing everything right, if they're a good soldier, there's plenty of horrible straight, you know, what is it, cisgender? I think cisgender is a word for just like you think you are the gender you were born. There's plenty of really bad cisgender soldiers. A cisgender Navy SEAL just killed a Green Beret, right? And that story we covered a while ago. It's not the end all be all on how we should be judging people. It's how they choose to live their personal lives. Let's see. In my day, gay lesbians was automatic discharge. Yeah, which I think is horrible, Larry, personally. I treat everybody based on person. That's what I do too, gamer. Oki says, I just think as long as you can do your job and do it right in any workplace, including the military, then you should be allowed to be who you wish to be in said workplace. Agreed. How will induction of LGBTQ affect the military? It won't. It won't, because LGBTQ plus whatever it is now have been serving in the military since the beginning of the United States. So, and to say that they haven't is just dishonest. Everybody knows that, right? To say anything else is just completely dishonest. It asks for unnecessary attention. Man, I feel for these guys. I hope they get help. And what do you mean by help? At one point, some people could only be cooks in the Navy. We need to move forward. Philip, that's a great point. That's a great point. When we look back in history, have we not learned that discrimination always ends badly? Basically, discriminating against anybody over time, it ends badly with a bad memory. It's a stain on the reputation. Battlefield takes everybody's tags. True. Battlefield does not discriminate. If someone comes out or whatever, I feel like my reaction will just be like, okay, cool, sure. Yeah. What's the CO going to say? You're fired? Well, actually, I bet there's guidance. I bet there's doctrine for the CO, right? There's always doctrine on what to do in these situations. So I'm sure that the CO has a pub, has had training, something on exactly what you're supposed to do. There's probably something you're supposed to do. There's probably paperwork. There's probably appointments. There's probably all kinds of things you're supposed to do. Let's see. You get what you put in. Totally true. You get out what you put in of anything. Okay, guys. So that was a fun episode. That was a big Monday out here for me in Okinawa. I appreciate you guys being here. We'll be gaming after this, probably squad. I'll go take care of my dog really quick. Take her for a walk if it's not pouring right now, which I don't know. I got blackout curtains, so I can't really see outside. So I've got to go take care of my dog. Maybe I'll grab a bite to eat, and I will be back, and we will be doing some squad gameplay, most likely squad. Expect to see squad. You'll see it in the thumbnail. I appreciate everyone who subbed. I want to give a shout out to the members of the channel who've been in the chat today. Philip, Gamer with Guns, El Rambo. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I don't think that I did who's in the chat today. As a reminder, you can become a member by clicking the join button beneath the video here. Let's see. Aaron says, Been to Battle says, bullets don't care whether the target is trans or cis. True. I have a question. Why must everything else in the United States be separated from gender, bathrooms, and sports, but all of a sudden that no longer applies for the military? Aaron, this is the thing. This is the stigma I'm trying to break. It's not all of a sudden. It's not all of a sudden. Trans people have been serving in the military always. Always. For all of time. So this idea that it's all of a sudden happening is just, it's the wrong conversation to be having. It's not all of a sudden. It is always been that way, but people just haven't been able to do it in public. So what you'll see now is people more able to express themselves the same way the Air Force is letting people have long hair and people are saying about beards, and trans people want to live their lives as they see fit and still come to work and still follow the UCMJ and still do their job. With 95% of the military not being in combat MOSs, there's really very little distinction between male and female service members already. And then if people want to be trans or gay, there's really no difference there either. It's not going to change anything. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. I am confident when I say there's not going to be a ton of trans people all of a sudden trying to rush recruiters' offices and join the military. People have been serving who are trans forever. So I don't think that all of a sudden it's no longer applies for the military is the right question. It's not a bad question, but what I'm telling you is it's not all of a sudden. It's always been that way. So that's my answer to that. Let's see. Aaron Blaze, what's your opinion on trans women in female quarter showers that have not transitioned yet? Rambo's answer is politics. Yeah, politics is a big part of it too. So, okay, guys. With all that being said, thank you to everybody who joined. If you want to be a member, click the join button right below this video. If you want to become a patron, we've got multi-tier patrons that come with their own benefits. If you become an elite tier patron at patreon.com/the Show, linked in the description, you can get a free t-shirt on your second month to be an elite patron. With all that being said, I look forward to talking to you guys very soon in a few minutes over on Squad. That's the scuttlebutt.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.